Hi everyone. Hello, hello. I feel like I haven't done a live in a while because for a while there I was doing so many lives in a row. So I shared this lesson, I shared the personal story with my boot camp members the other day, and I thought about how much fun it would be to actually share this story with you guys. And it's really a story of probably a little bit of grit and just a good learning lesson for if you really want something. And what I mean by want something, when I was typing this out, I was like, well, this wouldn't like apply to like, dating someone or something. It doesn't apply to that. But if you really want something, so if we're just looking at you want to book more clients and you want to hit a certain amount of money, if you want to have a new fitness routine, if you want to be in shape, anything like that, that is totally possible for you to get and for it to happen to you. And I want to kind of tell the story about how I kind of figured out at like a little bit of a younger age about how I could really truly just get anything that I wanted. And when I did this, when I pushed myself and I let go of kind of all the excuses and all the reasons why I couldn't hit this goal, then it became very clear on exactly how I could hit the goal. And it's kind of things like that, just little stories like that, that have said any time when I've wanted to hit a bigger goal and felt like, no, I can never do that or I can never make that much money, I just kind of think back to that story and think like, of course I could. Like, of course I could. So there's a couple different stories throughout, but there's one personal story that I want to share. hmm Okay, so the story is around when I was 18. I went away to college for, I went away to a college and stayed on campus for my first year. It was like a state school, and I had worked really hard. I'd worked really, really hard to get into this college. Like throughout my whole high school, all I knew was that I wanted to go to college. So I did activities. I was like vice president of my class, and I had a great GPA and all this other stuff. So I did all this other stuff, and I was working throughout high school too. And I was just really excited to go to college. So I go away to college, and I go and stay on campus. And I remember it hitting me the summer I came home from college. I kind of, it was something that had slowly creeped up on me that I kind of knew was going to, it was kind of like this revelation that was happening. So if you've ever had something and you've been like, you just know something isn't going to work out or you know it isn't for you, it kind of felt like that. So I come home from college and it's the summer and it started hitting me that I really couldn't afford college. So when I was away at college, I had a job on campus, and that job paid for my shampoo, nights out with friends, conditioner, toothpaste, all the other stuff that wasn't covered by like my student loans that I had had. And none of my other friends had jobs on campus, or none of them really were ever concerned about money in some way, and I was always really concerned about money. I realized, how much money I was paying for college compared to maybe some of my friends. And it just kind of hit me that summer that college wasn't for me. I couldn't pay for college. That was kind of the idea that I had put into my head, that I could not pay for college, and it just wasn't going to happen. And I really didn't know. I just knew that at the time I couldn't pay for college. So I had decided to take a year off from school because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So I took a year off from college. I got a job working at like a pharmacy around the corner. I had worked there when I was in high school, so it was nice that they took me back. So I went back there and I would walk to work every day. So I had no license and I had no car. That was like another reason why I felt like I couldn't afford college, because I remembered at some point I'm going to need a car. I'm also going to need to pay for an apartment, and I have no idea how I'm going to make that happen. So for most of you that know that I was raised in like a single mom household. There was four of us living in a 2-bedroom house. My mom would sleep on the couch, and then later when I got back from college, I slept on the couch. So there was not a lot of extra money or any money to go around. So one, I needed to get my license, and two, I needed to get a car. But I was kind of in this like conundrum, right? Which some of you guys might be facing of like, the money is not here, but I need this thing to happen in order, I need the money first and then in order for this thing to happen. So I was like, how am I going to get out of this situation? I need a car to get a better job, but I can't get the car kind of thing, right? So it was my first year. I came home. It was my first year that I had away at college. I came home. I started working at the pharmacy. I would walk to work. I would walk to the pharmacy. And then I was kind of like, I need more money than what the pharmacy is providing. Like, I just need more money to make. So I had a friend who was working at a restaurant, and I was like, oh, cool, do you think you could get me a job there? But I could only work when you work because I need rides. And she was like, yeah, sure. So she got me a job there working in a restaurant. She gave me rides to work, and they knew that I could only work when she was working, which worked out fine because they needed someone just at the time she was working. So I was so thankful that I had that friend at that time who was able to get me a second job. So I was walking to the pharmacy, going to that job at night, and I started then paying for driving lessons. So I was so excited. It was kind of like, we had my mom was a single mom, and she didn't really have the patience for teaching us at the time, and then also like my like paying for lessons and things like that, and we only had one car, so I had to pay for driving lessons. That's pretty much the gist of it. So I start, getting this job, and then I start paying for driving lessons. So I'm writing checks. I'm like feeling like a real adult, and I'm feeling like I am actually making things happen. Okay. So I passed the driver's test, awesome. And then I had taken the money from my second job, and I would just put it in a box every single night. It wasn't like the smartest idea when I look back on it. But I had just started taking this cash and just putting it into this box and saving for a car. So I saved up enough money. I passed the driver's test. I paid for all my driving lessons. And then I go to a dealership. I buy a car. I'm so excited. It was just one of those things when I could see no way. I could see no way out of this. I could see no way out of this situation. And I had to see somewhat, like I had to kind of create the opportunities or see the opportunities in order for me to ever get out of that place, so here I am like saying like, I just can't see any way to get out. I'm working at this job, it's not paying me enough, and I don't have a car, I don't have a license, like all that stuff was just like, I feel like I can't get out of this. So I had to become incredibly resourceful. So I had to, contact friends and see, do they have jobs? Could they give me rides? Things like that. And so that was kind of for me, like that story, and telling that story of, working 2 jobs to get my license and get a car, and then eventually going on and finishing college and, while working 2 jobs, and while sometimes working 3 jobs, and still just like going to school and getting it because I was going to get this thing no matter what. Like I was going to get it, and I had to make it happen in any way that I could, right? So all of those instances, I think you guys have at least one story where you have the same thing, where there is something you want so badly. So for some of you guys, it might be to quit your 9 to 5, and for some of you guys, it might be to book 20 weddings next year. For some of you guys, it might be just to book your first 5 weddings, right? And you feel like you really want this thing to happen. You really, really want it to happen. And you might feel like how I felt, like I just don't see any way this could happen, or I just don't know how to get out of this situation I am in. And it is totally possible for you to get out of the situation you're in. And there are opportunities around you everywhere. The problem is you kind of have to get out of your own head a little bit and say, you know what, I'm going to put my pride aside. I'm going to be consistent on social media. I'm going to do whatever I have to do in order to get to this thing, because I need for it to happen. I need my life to move forward. I need to quit that 9 to 5. I want to, take my family on a vacation, so there are so many ways to make this happen. There really are. And sometimes we just have to see that there are opportunities around us, and there are so many ways for us to hit our goals, and there are so many ways we can get what we want, even when it seems like it's totally impossible. So I just wanted to share that little private story that I had and show you guys what's totally possible. I did end up going back to college, and I finished my college degree in 6 years, and I'm super proud of myself for, working 2 to 3 jobs while finishing that degree and bouncing around a lot. But I needed it, and I wanted it, and I made it happen, right? And I needed that car, and I needed that license, and I needed to make it happen, even if I couldn't see any other way to make it happen. So I just wanted to share that little inspirational story that I totally think you guys can make these things happen too. All right? All right, everyone. Have a good Wednesday. Bye.